He was cold, naked, 22 years old, standing on the Irish coast with nothing but the ocean in front of him and 6 years of slavery behind him. No plan, no friends, no backup. He had nothing, just sheep as far as the eye could see. Fog that made it look like the sheep were floating in the sky, and a burning hunger, a blazing fire in his gut. He didn't speak the language. He didn't know the land. He barely even knew how to pray. But what he did know was that he was getting the fuck out of there, and if he ever made it home, he'd come back, not for revenge, but for redemption. The kind of redemption that only shows up when a boy survives slavery and returns as a legend. This kid was born in Roman Britain sometime in the late 300s. Yeah, Roman Britain. Before Guinness, before potatoes. We're talking dudes in sandals, stone roads, and emperors with god complexes. His name was Maewyn Sucat. Not exactly the kind of name that gets you a TikTok following, but stay with me. And no, it's not a dirty joke name like Seymour Butts. He was the son of a wealthy official, grew up soft, silver spoon, probably never missed a meal. But one day, when he was about 16, some Irish raiders rolled up to his village, fucked shit up and said, "You're coming with us." Boom. He was kidnapped and smuggled across the sea to Ireland. And just like that, he went from pampered rich boy to a slave shepherd on a mountain. 6 years, no family, no language, no shoes, just sheep and suffering. But instead of breaking, he did something crazy. He started listening to the wind, the sky, the silence, and eventually to God. One night he has this dream. God tells him, "Get up, your ship is waiting." No map, no GPS, just faith. So what does this kid do? He walks over 200 miles through enemy territory. No food, no weapons, no guarantees. But somehow he makes it to the coast, finds a ship, talks his way on board, gets back to Britain. He miraculously finds his way home. He was finally free, and more alive than ever before. And just when you think this is where the story ends, the legend is just beginning. Years go by and Maewyn is safe and comfortable. He could have just moved on, lived a quiet life, ate grapes, told people stories about back in the day. But one night, another dream. This time the voices of the Irish people calling him back, not for revenge, but for their souls. So he trains, he studies, he prays and prays. He becomes a priest. He changes his name to Patricius, and later became known as the infamous St. Patrick. This badass priest does something most people would never even consider. He returns to the very land that enslaved him, not to burn it down, but to light it up with the Holy Spirit. When Patrick gets back to Ireland, he's not exactly welcomed with a hug. The Druids hate him. The chieftains tried to kill him. He's walking into pagan territory, trying to pitch Christianity to a bunch of warriors and poets who worship trees and drink like Vikings. But the guy's got balls of steel and a purpose bigger than himself. He starts preaching, translating, baptizing, converting thousands without ever drawing a sword. Legend says he used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity. 1 stem, 3 leaves, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Simple and brilliant. It was expert marketing before marketing was a thing. He built churches, ordains priests, and established Christianity across the entire nation of Ireland. And the snakes? Yeah, about that. There's a myth that he drove all the snakes out of Ireland. The truth is, Ireland never had snakes. What he really drove out was ignorance, fear, and pagan superstition. But snakes sound cooler, so the story stuck. One could argue he drove out the figurative snakes who objected to Christianity. Today we wear green, we drink too much, we throw parades. But most people forget the real story. St. Patrick wasn't Irish. He wasn't lucky. He wasn't looking to be famous. He was a kidnapped teenager who turned trauma into transformation. He went from slave to shepherd to saint. Because he understood one thing. The only way to beat fear is to walk right back into it, look at it straight in the face, and knock it the fuck out. So here's your Monday wake-up call. We've all got an island, a place we got hurt, a place we were broken, humiliated, or taken advantage of, a job, a family, a past, a failure. Most people run from that place, but the strong ones, they go back, not for payback, but for power and for purpose. You want freedom? You want growth? You want to change the damn world? Then face the thing that tried to destroy you and turn it into your bitch. This is Shawn Michaels reminding you. You don't have to be born a saint to make a mark. You just have to be willing to return to your darkest place and light it the fuck up. Now get out there, be dangerous, be disciplined, and be legendary. So savages, that is your Monday morning motivation. Kick this week's ass like a bunch of badass leprechauns.